Bethany Manctalo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 24-25 season of our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of George Lampey, Stan Godwin, and Ted Robinson.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Okay, well, it was fantastic to see Bangura Williams replace Romain Esse in the England U21 Elite squad match during the international break. Mark Fairbrother's insights regarding forthcoming changes at the Den are amazing, and we also launched our own 5G network. All the happenings from the Den look promising on so many fronts. Or the sceptic might say, or do they? Evening, Stan. Issue of sports and injuries resurfaced again this week with a significantly changed Chris Kamara struggling to communicate his problems. March 2 attended the Den regarding the condition of two former Ipswich Town players and were fundraising for them. Of course, dementia is often highlighted, and our own Phil Coleman, who voluntarily attends PFA organised testing, received yet another all clear. Do you think that sports sufferers are merely a micro-population group of the UK suffering from these conditions? Or does their notoriety serve a greater purpose, or both?
I don't know, really. I mean, there seems to be a big increase in relationship to dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever you want to call it, amongst the population in general. I mean, but there's not a week goes by when you don't hear somebody's got it and whatever, and because the implication is it seems to be on the increase. I mean, whether it is or not, I don't know, but that's always seems to me to be the implication. And because with this thing with sportsmen and footballers heading the ball and one thing and another, I mean, yeah, it's taken greater focus on it, and and I can understand it. And clearly, the football authorities are concerned, that they're now changing all the rules in relationship to heading about football and all that sort of thing. The Chris Kamara one, when I heard that, I was a bit surprised about that, because first suddenly missing off the television screens. It then sort of come out after a little while that he was ill, but they never sort of said too much about what was the matter with him initially. And then some months later, or a couple of years later, I mean, I can remember suddenly he was on the television saying that, that he was a lot better now, and they'd had this problem and they'd got over it. And I thought, oh, well, that's okay. And then all of a sudden, I think this week, it then comes out and he's now talking about dementia, which took me by surprise.
It's actually brain damage with him.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, which took me by surprise, because none of that had been said before, In that aspect of it, we're all in difficult times now, aren't we? And there's going to come a time, I think, it'll be as physical as it is today. I mean, and some people complain even today it's not physical enough to what we're used to. But I don't know. I don't know how you're going to square that circle, because if you've got on one hand medical people telling you it's unsafe and it's this and it's that, they're not just going to say it and just let it just carry on. Something will have to be done.
Yeah. A little caveat to that, Eamonn, if you don't mind me coming in on it, because I've been thinking this all season. In rugby, if they have a head clash of heads or whatever, they go off the pitch to be assessed.
They do, yeah.
Now, football, obviously, there's a lot more. Heads are involved a lot more, should we say, and there's more opportunities of head clashing in football than there is in rugby, believe it or not, to a certain extent.
You're right.
But if we're talking about the well-being and health of people, I'd love them to do that in football, because it would do two things. One, it would stop these idiots of footballers that lay on the floor pretending their head has been caught when it hasn't, because it means you have to go off for 10 minutes. And there's far too much of that going on for me. But also, the more important thing is, if there is a clash of heads, they will get assessed as soon as that clash of heads has happened, and they will be told in no uncertain terms that if it's bad enough, they don't go on playing. So, I would love to see that come in.
I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see further steps taken to protect players, and I also, if you're looking at rugby, I'd love, like they do in rugby, for those players that are actually doing stuff that they ought not to, instead of just getting a yellow card, they get the yellow card and go for a walk and sit in the
sin bin. Yeah, listen, Eamonn, you've heard me many times on here. Football can learn a lot from rugby, and certainly the discipline of players and how they discipline them. Yeah, I cannot see any harm in bringing in, because what they do in rugby now, they also put them into a sin bin and they make them be assessed by their assist bin, by the VAR, if you like, or whatever. Yeah. And it can be upgraded to a red card. Yeah. So, why not bring that into football? Yeah. It would make a lot of sense to me.
The future is in the grasp of the FA and the PFA. Ted, I'm going to go back to you now and say, imagine the day when Bangura Williams would step in to replace Romain Esse. Did you ever think so? In the England U21 Elite team?
It is a bit ironic, isn't it? That he actually comes on for a Romain Esse. But listen, I see this boy at pre-season down at Cray Wanderers. I took my grandson down there because he was playing for Cray at the time, and we went there to see Millwall in pre-season. It was a lot of the youth boys and younger boys, and this kid Bangura Williams played in the middle of the park and scored one of the best goals that I've seen for ages. For the old ones like me and yourself, if you ever remember Bobby Charlton's goal against Mexico in the 96 World Cup, that's exactly the sort of goal that this kid scored. And I thought to myself, who's this boy? And took his name into my head, obviously, I'm not surprised, because I think when he's come into the first team frame and started to play, I think he's a little bit more advanced than when Romain Esse came in. Esse had to do a lot of learning. He hadn't played any men's football, should we call it that? Bangura Williams had played at Tooting and Mitcham and learnt a little bit there. He looks more ready for first team football. I'm not saying he's the final or finished article by any stretch of the imagination at this moment in time, and I just believe he's going to get better and better. I really think Bangura Williams next season could be a top player for us.
I think so too. Thanks for that, Ted. George, evening to you, old chap.
Good evening.
Good evening. Significant changes are currently underway at the Den. These include modifications and various improvements to the stadium and training ground. And Mark Fairbrother provides an insightful overview of these developments. Additionally, it's also essential to acknowledge the introduction of our own 5G technology. This is the first club in the UK to do this. Mind you, it's faced some criticism from certain individuals. What are your thoughts regarding these changes?
Millwall, over the last several years now, have established itself as a championship football club. I think Millwall are now putting things in place as far as the facilities of the Den, that they're going to be ready, or they're hoping to be ready if and when they make the Premiership. Now, hospitality-wise, they're going to do a lot of stuff over in the hospitality suites this coming season. And then next year it's going to be the executive boxes. So I think there's a lot going to go on at the Den, plus at the training ground at Calmont Road. I can understand some criticism from supporters, because I think some of the things they're putting in place will be for maybe more highfalutin supporters rather than the ones that we have at the present time. In fairness to Fairbrother, he seems to be covering all the angles for supporters. He's not just going for the well-to-do ones. He looks like he's remembering the guys who can't afford the lavish boxes and all that sort of thing. So, yes, I think there's good work going on, and I think Millwall are trying to move forward behind the scenes as much as on the pitch also.
Yeah. I mean, one of the points was talking about covering the area, the fan zone at the Coldblow Lane end, so Ted wouldn't get too wet when it was raining. So
I'm in Harry's Bowl, so I'm all right.
Oh yeah. Well, if you can't get in, that is, you never know. Yeah. No, but I think things like that are brilliant, and it make a big difference. And long may it continue. So thanks for that, guys. That was an interesting selection of thoughts and views on progress at the Den. So we'll take a break there and hear about our sponsor, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Stan Godwin, George Lampey and Ted Robinson. Many thanks to our sponsor, G&M Motors. Why not check the Hondas out and see what else they have on site at Gravesend? Our first guest is a well-known former Lion who has always and still is held high in esteem by Millwall Community Trust CEO Sean Daly and, of course, our fan base. Between the 2011 and 2012 and the 2019-20 seasons, he made over 200 starting and substitute appearances and scored 44 goals for Millwall. He also played for the Republic of Ireland 22 times, from the under-17s through to the senior team. From us, he moved to this week's opponents, Sunderland. Well, that was a good idea to get him on. Before joining Portsmouth, Shrewsbury, Shelbourne in Dublin, and is now a National League South with Woking. He is actually something that we need to share, our Bethany Manctalo's favourite ever Millwall player. Now, don't let that take you back, because she's very good. But anyway, please join me in welcoming Aiden O'Brien. Hello, Aiden.
All right, Aiden.
Good evening, all. Good evening. How's everyone?
Well, that was handy. You got responses from all of them.
Yeah, nice. How's everyone? Okay.
Living a dream, mate.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Good.
Aidan, we're thrilled to have you back on the show.
Nah, good to be here.
It is, and it's great to have you. Sean Daly loves to share with everyone how you inspired young people during your time as a Millwall player ambassador. Our very own Gary Staff was equally impressed when he took his son to a coaching event with you. How was your ability to connect with young people? How did it come about?
First and foremost, obviously, Sean Daly is somebody that I kind of got on well with and connected well with in the community. And yeah, massive hats off to him and to all the staff behind the Millwall Community Trust. They're doing a terrific job, working tirelessly to make the best opportunities for people and in that area. So brilliant work from Millwall's perspective, and also just for us perspective in life. Really, they're just good people and they're just doing really good things in the community. So hats off to them. First of all, second of all, I just used to love trying to give back a little bit when I can. Even like a little appearance here and there and showing my face. And I understand how far that kind of goes in the community and to people that kind of at the time maybe looked up to me and wanted to be in probably my position when they were older or wanted to kind of know my story. And I just wanted to kind of give back in any little way I can to the community. And that's kind of what I kind of did. And I kind of found it really important to kind of do that. And Sean Daly kind of recognised that I was willing to do that. And we had a great bond.
He certainly tells a story of where he went to a school where the kids really never took much notice of him. And as soon as you started speaking, it went silent and they were all mesmerised.
I mean, there was one time as well, just to stop you there, was one time they took me to an assembly. There's me thinking that I was going to just go there, show my face. Next minute, I got handed a mic, unprepared, in front of a whole assembly. So, yeah, you can imagine how that went down.
Wow. They held you in awe, no doubt.
Yeah, well, I hope so, yeah.
Thanks, Aiden.
No problem.
Aiden, it's Ted here.
Hi, Ted. You okay?
Hey, good evening, mate. Yeah, there's just one thing before I ask my question. Don't go overboard about Bethany. She says that about all of her players we come on here. But that's Bethany. Bless her, yeah. But she does hold you in special regard. She does really,
that's nice of Bethany. Nice.
And it's lovely to hear, Eamon, about you, Aiden, thinking about giving stuff back. That's wonderful. And it certainly sounds like you've got a talent for it, mate. But I still remember you and the sheer joy you always displayed when scoring goals for Millwall. I loved your reaction. Was it at Walsall when you jumped, or Berry, was it when you jumped into the crowd? Yeah, got a little bit carried away, mate. But what one stands out for you the most? What one stood out for you the most, though, in remembering all your goals?
Oh, wow. I would probably say, that Berry one was just iconic in terms of, like, because there was a couple policemen there and I had to push past him. That moment there was just I don't know what kind of went through my mind at the time.
Well, I can tell you what went through mine, Eamon. You don't know. I'll tell you what went through mine. I thought he's a true Millwall man pushing that copper out of the way there.
Listen, I didn't even recognise it was a copper. That's how much of a blur it was for me. I just wanted to get in amongst the fans that travelled. I don't know what it was. It just, listen, it was a mad moment, but it also is a moment that's kind of gone down in my history books in terms of my favourite goals and because of that celebration, really.
And what about, can you share the story behind the unforgettable goal for the Republic of Ireland in Poland? Was it the
of course.
Goal of the season?
Yes, it was. I got the trophy upstairs, which was a terrific piece of memorabilia to kind of look back on when I'm older and kind of just, it's a great achievement, and I got told I was starting the day of the game. Didn't have a clue. And, as you can probably imagine, the nerves were kicking in. I was just telling my family, friends, and everyone was letting everyone know that I was starting my first game. And I just thought, you know what? Just go out there and do what you do for Millwall. Enjoy yourself. Go play with a smiley and afraid. Play free. Be free. Do what you do. Do what you have been doing. And it was probably one of my, best games I played that season, Probably best games I played in my career to date. Everything was kind of coming off. So luckily I ended up notching one and on my debut, and then the rest is history. Unbelievable scenes, and the moment I will cherish for the rest of my life for sure.
You didn't think of running into the crowd then, Aiden?
No, especially not away to Poland. I probably won't make it out.
The policeman might not have been so friendly, so you're probably wise not to try that.
Aiden, it's Stan here, mate. It was exciting to hear you join Shelbourne in the League of Ireland Premier Division.
Yes.
And we'd love for you to share your journey in Dublin, especially how it felt to see Shelbourne rise to become Premier League champions, even with the odds at 25 to 1 at the start of the season.
It was a strange one, really, because I was at the PFA camp. It's like a off-season training camp for people out of contract. Absolutely brilliant, by the way, but I was there and I had a few offers, around and places where I was kind of umming and ahhing. I was like, and then I kind of holding out. And then a player that I played with when I was in Ireland under that 17s and 18s ended up being a sporting director for Shelbourne. But I didn't know that. And he reached out to me and was like, look, I've been sporting director at Shelbourne. We're halfway through our season here. We really need a push. We need a striker. We need you. We want you, blah, blah, blah. And because I had a great connection with him, I got the deal done within a couple hours. It was really, really easily done. Went out there and I loved it to bits, mate. Really loved it to bits. People out there, the community, the staff, it's just absolutely refreshing. Loved it. Glad I went.
Oh, good.
Well done. Hello, Aiden. It's George Lampey here. How you doing?
Hi there, George. You okay?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You're currently with Woking in the National League under former Lion Neil Hardley.
Yes.
It's great to see that you've got a few Lions in the young Lions. With you got Chino Okoli and Sharma Lawson, I believe, haven't you? On loan there.
Yeah.
And how's life treating you with the Cards?
I've been there. I know Simon Bassey. I don't know if you know the name and know the person, but he's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's a great coach. I was with him at Portsmouth, so I just finished the season up at Shelbourne. I left Shelbourne, which I forgot to mention there. I had another season there. I should have been there now, but I decided to kind of mutually terminate due to being away from my son. He couldn't. He was finding it hard, as was I. So I decided to put family first, which I always try to do. So I got away from that situation, and then I ended up being clubless. So I called Bassey, and Bassey said, "Look, halfway through the season, just come in to the end of the season, just play some games, and then call it, like, whatever you want to do after that, do after that." So he just basically, within an hour, same as like Shelbourne, really quick turnaround, just got the deal done, and just to the end of the season, mate. But it's, as I said, same as Shelbourne, the people at Woking, the players, the staff, they're all very genuine, down to earth, working hard people, working class, hard working people. And I find, that's the type of people I get on with the most, the best. So really enjoying it.
Good.
Aiden, Stan here again, mate. Another former Lion, Mark Beard, joined us on last week's show, sharing his insights on the coaching and management. Do you envisage your future in the coaching world, and what hopes do you have for it?
Well, I'm dabbling a little bit in it now with my own personal stuff, but I have done my UEFA B coaching badge, and I also intend to do my UEFA A badge. So I do want to get involved in the coaching. I don't know to what extent yet. I don't know whether I want to go first team. I don't know whether I want to just do 16s to 18s, maybe reserves. I'm not sure. I haven't entirely made up my mind on that. I'm just really enjoying the little coaching I'm doing now on the side with my own thing. I'm just really enjoying that for now. And I'm just going to see where it goes, really. Get the badges, get the A license, and then maybe in a couple of years' time, really have a little think about where I want to go with it.
Yeah.
My Aiden said again, you usually played in a 4-4-2 formation when at the Den. Nowadays, the game features a lot more variable combinations, often within the same match sometimes, compared to when you was with us, if you know what I mean, because it was quite a solid thing that we had. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and do you think it has made for a better or worse experience for the fans with the formations? Because sometimes, I don't know that it's much different, mate, because sometimes people just cancel one another out. What do you reckon?
It's a bit of a tricky subject because everyone's always got their opinions, and opinions always clash in this department for sure, which I've had discussions with loads of people before about it, and you always get a different answer from different people. But I think if you just really strip it back and really look at the bigger picture, is yes, you want to entertain the fans, rightly so, of course we do, as players, as staff, as managers, and as we want to entertain the fans as much as we can, 100%. But we also need to win the game, So if that looks like a messy 4-4-2, structured, hard to kind of beat, sit in and maybe win it on the counter attack in the last minute, then that's what the game plan has to be for that day. I feel like to get fixed into maybe 100 passes and playing out from the back and always doing that type of scenario is if you've not got the players, you can't do it. You've got to kind of adapt to what you have at the time, and at the same time you need to win the game, whether it's a strong, robust 4-4-2, or whether it's a free-flowing 4-3-3. the fans need to understand, as well as we have to entertain them, we also need to win the game. So I feel like basically horses for courses, one team you're going to be playing 4-4-2, you might be playing 3-5-2, different formations for different games, obviously. And I feel like the main point I'm trying to make is, yes, we want to entertain fans as players and obviously the staff, but we need to entertain them by winning the game. So whatever that takes.
No, I was going to say that I've always been one to think that you should be playing to your players' strengths, and sometimes players are suited to 4-4-2 and sometimes they're not, and I think it's always, I think it was obvious at Millwall when dear old Edwards came in that the guys weren't happy with moving from a 4-4-2 that we've been playing to like sort of try and free at the back. It just didn't seem to work. I'm not saying you can't do it. You might need a pre-season to play it first, but you've got to look at your players' strengths as well, haven't you, Aiden?
Well, if you look at our team, the team when I was in, if you tried to get us to play out from the back and dilly-dally and all of this ultimate soccer, we would have probably got relegated. We were built as, resilient, hard to break through, really hard-working, second balls, down fast-paced football, pressing, tackles, winning your seconds, like making it really hard and scrappy for the person that's in front of you, the opposition. That was what we were built on, and that's what we all thrived off. That's why we done so well, because we were all following on the same kind of footpath. You've got half a team that want to pass and half the team that don't want the ball, then you ain't going to be able to do that free-flowing football because half of the team don't want the ball. So exactly what you said, you're spot on, mate. If you ain't got the facilities to do it on the pitch, you can't do it. No matter how many good ideas you have, you need to have the players to do it.
Yeah, and sometimes I think it's better to just say, this is us, come and beat us. You know what I mean? Exactly
what we did, Yeah. And we used to beat teams up. I mean, it might not have been pretty. Fans might have been going home going, wow, that was we didn't keep the ball much there. But then we end up winning 2-0. Then they go, you know what, fair enough, we won 2-0. We weren't pretty, but we won 2-0.
Yeah.
It's George again, Aiden. I do know this, but I can only imagine how your father encouraged you to have all them 9 incredible seasons in our first team.
Yes.
And we valued your contribution, your passion you brought to the game. We understand it was tough for you when eventually you parted company with us. Looking back, how would you describe your experiences and your most memorable years with the Lions?
Wow, that's a very deep question because obviously I was there since I was 15. My first ever club, really, and I kind of put in so much grit and desire and work to kind of go through the ranks and make it all the way to the age of 27. In the first team, it was just, looking back on it now, the journey was just so incredible, and the people I met along the way, and still keep in contact with now. It's just the relationships I built, with the fans, with the club, with the staff there. It's just such a warm family club. I would never have changed it for the world. If I could go back and maybe change club, I would do the exact same thing all over again. It was just the best time of my career, hands down.
No. And we appreciated you. Don't you worry about that. We loved you.
Not all the time, we didn't.
No, not all the time. Most of the time.
You can't. Listen, I had a lot of bad games.
I did appreciate you more than I didn't. I've got to be honest.
He abuses everybody. Don't think
you're alone, Aiden.
Listen, if you can't take abuse, you can never be a Millwall player, that's for sure.
It's what I call friendly banter.
Yeah, no, I'm all over that.
Yeah, I bet you are. Aiden, if you could pinpoint one thing those years that really stood out for you.
I know it sounds a bit cop-outy, but it has to be the promotion, don't it? Like,
I think you must have had champagne before you got the cup that day. I was looking at you and I thought, bloody hell, he's on one ear. There's no doubt about it.
Listen, as soon as that final whistle went, let me tell you, the amount of bubbles that went down my neck. Yep.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the amount of beer that went down my neck before the game. Let alone half.
I'll tell you what, it made it really sweet as well because we lost the year before, didn't we?
That's right.
Yeah.
It just made it a little bit more sweeter, you know. Great finish from a great ball from Willow, header from Gregory, I think it was, into Morrow, and then Morrow banged it in the net.
Yeah,
great scenes. And then I think that's got to be the pinnacle, just because from a 15-year-old boy coming into Millwall, you know, to then winning a league, well, getting promoted, not winning the league, but getting promoted with that boyhood club is unbelievable. Something that dreams are made of, you know.
It certainly was. It certainly
Well,
was.
it only taken me about 50 years, Eamon. So Aiden. 50 years. I see what I mean. I'm losing it now.
You sure you're not on them bubbles tonight?
My wife listens to this. Hold on.
Yeah. Dear. Aiden, before you head off, there's Ted's Prediction League.
Right.
Now, I don't know actually, but Ted will invite you to share your predictions for 3 championship scores. And at the end of the season, we'll gather all the results and find out who among our guest host panel, regular reporters, has the best score predicting skills of the season.
Oh,
so I'm going to hand you over to Ted, and I'll just remind him you're speaking to Aiden now.
Oh, is it Aiden? Yeah, sorry.
And he'll take you through that.
He would put your score down as Eamonn's.
Here we go, Aiden. Anyway,
let's go.
Right, the 3 games I've pricked. Oh, look at that. Picked. Sorry, my teeth ain't in tonight. 3 games I've picked this week is now be careful with this first one, because I know you play for both sides, but it's Sunderland at home to Millwall.
Jeez, that's a big game. Woo! I'm gonna go. So, have you had predictions on this already then by other people, or is it just?
I'll tell you what mine is if you want.
No, I've got mine in my head. I've got mine in my head. I'm gonna say 2-1 Millwall.
Good man. It's all right. Eamon, we can have him back on now.
Yeah. Who are you talking to, Aiden or me?
I don't know. I don't know the scorers.
Both of you.
I don't know as much as the scorers, but I'm going to go 2-1 Millwall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout, Aiden. Not a bad shout. Aiden, all the championship games, you look at them and you think, blimey, it could go one way. I know it sounds daft, but you really think they could go one way or the other. There's never any gimmies. And the second one I've gone for is Hull versus Luton.
Oh, Luton are struggling, ain't they?
They need the result badly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-0 Luton. You know,
1-0 Luton. Yeah, I think.
Wait, hold on. Is it away at Hull?
Is it Hull versus Luton?
I'm gonna go 1-0 Luton. I'm gonna go wild card, and as you said, they're due to get a result, and
it's not a bad shout. They're desperate. They're desperate. I can't believe how poorly they've been this year, to be quite honest. And finally, another one that is, in the balance, and I think you might sit on the fence with this one, it's Norwich at home to West Brom.
Norwich score goals, so do West Brom. So I reckon it's going to be a fairly high scoring game. I reckon it'll be, I'm going to go 2-1 Norwich.
2-1 Norwich.
Yeah, 2-1 Norwich at home. Norwich at home, you say, yeah?
It is Norwich at home, yeah, and you're right, they do score goals. And
2-1 Norwich.
And they need the result, probably more than West Brom as well. So
yeah,
it's
I'm
not a
going
bad
to go
shout.
2-1 Norwich. If it was away, I would have probably gone 2-2, 2-2, 3-2. But I'm happy to go 2-1. They'll be quite solid with Shane Duffy and all of that stuff at the back. So yeah,
well, thanks for that, Aiden.
No problem.
Thank you for coming on the show, Aiden. It's been a pleasure listening to your memories, and we look forward to you joining us once again in a not too distant future. You've always got something of interest to tell us. So all the best to you and yours, and goodbye for now. I don't know who's knocking the cutlery about, but
that's the missus batch cooking, and I'm going to have to tell her off later.
Hey, carry on batch cooking.
Yeah.
Cheers. Goodbye for now, Aiden.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Aiden. Batch cooking.
Wow. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Well, that was brilliant, wasn't it, eh? How bad can that be?
Yeah, he's a lovely fella.
He is.
Eamonn or Aiden, they're both good.
Whoever you'd like to call me this week.
You know what I kept saying, Eamonn? On my computer, your name's at the biggest and his name's at the bottom. And I kept seeing Eamonn. And
I'll have to get you bifocals then.
Yeah.
Now, let's hear from Ellis Barr.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to. Come on, Millwall!
Thanks, Ellis, as usual. Keep us in the loop. Well, let's hear from Paul Loding, who's going to tell us all about what Millwall Romans and Pride have been up.
Hi, it's Paul Loding at the Millwall Romans with a quick update. Some cracking results last weekend as Romans went away to Stonewall. Stonewall are a good side and they've really come on in the last few years. I wouldn't say we're playing our best at the moment. We defended quite well, although did let in 2 goals, but did manage to score 3 in the end to take the result to 3-2. This weekend for the Romans, we head into the LUL semi-final, which is being held at West Ham Memorial Ground. We're playing against Falcons. We played them earlier on in the season on a grass pitch in the GFSN first round of the Cup. Looking forward to that, and also playing on our favoured 4G pitch. Pride also had a cracking win last weekend, beating the other Stonewall team 4-0 at St Paul's. A great result for them. They're also in action this weekend against Phoenix in the LUL Cup semi-final. And I don't think I'm doing particularly well in the predictions. I think I was lower table last time I had a quick look. But Millwall Sunderland, Millwall will take that, I reckon, 2-0. Hull Luton, I think John Goodyear will go mad if I don't back Hull on that one. So I'm going to say 1-0 to Hull. And Norwich West Brom. Do you know what? I'm going to go 1-0 to Norwich as well on that one.
Well, thanks for that, Paul, and thanks for the update. Sounds like the team are doing well. Miles Thornton reported on Millwall Lionesses over the weekend. Here is what he had to say to the listeners of Maritime Radio.
The Millwall Lionesses and New Haven Ladies played to an exciting 2-2 draw at St Paul's Sports Ground on Sunday. Millwall manager Ted Jones kept to the same starting 11 as last week's match against Haywards Heath Town. The action kicked off quickly, with Maisie Joyce scoring just 4 minutes into the game. This marked her 4th goal in the last 2 games, as she capitalised on a shot saved from Elise Jennings to find the back of the net. As the first half drew to a close, New Haven equalised with a goal from Danny Parfitt, bringing the score to 1-1 at half-time. The second half saw Millwall dominate possession, but it was New Haven that struck first against the run of play, with Chloe Winchester netting their second goal. And in a thrilling finish, Liv McGregor levelled the score for Millwall after receiving a pass from Kira Watlin. Jennings delivered a cross that McGregor converted, ensuring the team shared the points. Millwall will aim to extend their unbeaten streak to 3 games next week as they face Saltdean United Women, with a kick-off scheduled for 2 p.m. at Hill Park. Miles Thornton, Maritime Radio.
Well, that was a bit against the grain, I think. People expected a winner. They certainly won away to New Haven. It's lucky they've got your favourite shirt sponsored, Kira Watlin, to keep them on the straight and narrow. She was captain last weekend. We face Sunderland on Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Stadium and Light. Back in November at the Den, the Mackems drew with us 1-1 when we left it to added time to equalise from a great Imaku run down the left wing. He even managed to get tumbled over, got up and kept running. And then he put a powerful low crosser in for Aziz to score. In their last game at Coventry, they shipped 3 goals without reply. In their previous 5 games, they have won 2, lost 2 and drawn 1. Right back Trahum returned from Northern Ireland duty with a hip injury, although I've heard today he may be in the side that faces us. Dennis Sirkin is definitely out, as is Enzo Lafee, or the latter is closing on a long-awaited return. Jensen Sealt, Tom Watson and Wilson Einador will be called into the starting 11 this weekend. Well, Isidore, funnily enough, is the favourite to score the first goal, so I reckon he must be more than in. He's in. There are no significant changes for us. Despite their heavy defeat last time out, Sunderland's odds have shortened, which is quite strange, while ours have lengthened. Millwall's odds to win are 9-2. It's 13-5 for a draw, And for the Mackems, they're odds on at 4-6. That's quite incredible when you think about it. It indicates a dominant match by the hosts in the North East. Now, remember, you and I cannot predict the same score as each other when making our predictions. So briefly, folks, what will it be, a positive result or something completely different? I'll ask Ted first what his thoughts and prediction are.
Well, I mean, Sunderland, one of the better sides this season, without a doubt, and they're up there, aren't they? Going well up there. We seem to be a little bit of a bogey side to them, and I think the pressure is beginning to tell. I've gone for a win like we had last season with Sunderland 0 and us 1.
That sounds a reasonable. Anyway, I can't predict the same as you, but I do believe we will win. And I've been on a social media site where I've made quite a strong prediction for a 3-1 win by Millwall. So how about you, Stan? What do you think?
Well, I fancy us to win as it goes, although I must admit I'm struggling at this particular moment in time to see how we can win up there 3-1, but I suppose it's possible. I personally would go with a 2-1 win myself.
Okay. And last but not least, the man that came in from the cold to cover for the man that's gone out to the heat, George.
Right, well, I can't be as confident as you lot, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. You always get an hard game at Sunderland, and as they're riding well, doing well this year, I think the most we get is a draw, and I think 2-2 will be the result.
We now look at the other two prediction games. What have you predicted for that one, Ted?
Hull versus Luton. Luton are desperate for a result, but Hull have been improving, so I sat on the fence with it, Eamonn. I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Lovely. I'm going to go a 1-0 win to Hull. How about you, Stan?
Fancy Luton to win 2-0.
That sounds good. And George, you going to sit on the fence again?
Not sitting on the fence on this one, as long as I'm not joking. I think Hull are a better team than most people believe they are, and I think they will win 2-0 against Luton.
Well, that sounds good to me as well. And last but not least is that game at Norwich where West Brom are the visitors. What did you think on that one, Ted?
Well, I'm with Aiden from earlier, because Norwich, I think, are desperate to win. They need a win. West Brom have just been, a bit like Sunderland, have been finding it a bit tough the last couple of weeks, I think. So, and they do score goals, Norwich. So I'm going for a Norwich to beat West Brom 2-1.
I'm going to go for Norwich 3-2. I think there's goals in this one this week. Over to you, Stan.
I think West Brom will only win it by the odd goal, so I'll settle for a 1-0 win for the Baggies.
Okay. How about you, George?
And I'm actually going to go for a West Brom win of 2-1.
I enjoyed that. We also have predictions from Nick Wythe of the Facebook Millwall Sicily site.
Hi, this is Nick Wythe. These are my predictions. Sunderland 1, Millwall 2, Hull 2, Luton 0, and Norwich 1, West Brom 2. Thank you.
That was entertaining, as usual, especially since we can never make the same predictions. But now we have that man, Phil Coleman, and his tales from the Brute Room.
Hi, Phil Coleman here again for a few more tales from the Brute Room. I want to talk about concussion and heading in football. Recently, there's been more articles about dementia and head trauma issues in former players. There's been some high-profile cases resulting in changes to the game. There's no heading to under-12s anymore. There's no repetitive heading drills in training, and the game has changed. The balls have changed, the style of play has changed, the training methods have changed, meaning there is less heading in the game and less heading in training. However, back in my day, when there was only one sub, if you were concussed, you stayed on the pitch. Nowadays, there's tests that are conducted in the close season, in pre-season, and there's concussion protocols that have to be followed. And if you have concussion, invariably you're going to be out and resting for 14 days. And back in my day, if you saw stars, you carried on. If you got knocked out, you got up and you played on. And the thought of Jack Blackman running on with that cold sponge going down your back of your neck, you damn well got up pretty quick. If you had stitches, invariably you had your stitches and you carried on. To be honest with you, back then there was a culture, you were seen as weak, a bit soft. if you never carried on with a bang on the head. In my time, heading came from absolutely every angle. The goalkeeper kicked it, you headed it. Throw-ons, you headed it. Corners, you headed it. Free kicks, yep, you headed it. And everything from out wide, there were loads of crosses, and it was almost like a war. It was constant heading. But I loved it. It was my thing. It was my skill. When I was growing up, I found out that I enjoyed heading. I worked on it. I would sometimes do probably about 30 headers a day. That was my thing. That was my development. One incident, I got butted by a striker, and I went off the pitch with blood pouring out my forehead for a few minutes. The physio laid me down on the bed and held my head. The club doctor put 5 stitches in my head, put some plastic skin over it, and said, off you go. I remember walking back down the tub and my legs were a bit wobbly, but I played on. Played the rest of the game. 5 stitches on my head, plastic skin over the top, and just cracked on with it. I even took my own stitches out the following Saturday morning with a pair of pliers, razor blade, to make sure that I played. So a bit of Vaseline over the top, and I carried on playing. I was knocked out probably in the region of 10 times in my career. I saw stars weekly. And so a little while ago, I thought I'd better do the right thing. So I agreed to be a volunteer for the Professional Footballers Association, the Footballers Union, and in conjunction with the Institute of Sport and University College London, I visited their place in Tottenham Court Road. I had an initial consultation where I explained that I'd probably been knocked out 10 times in my career, and I saw stars weekly. I had an MRI scan, 75 minutes in an MRI scan, loads of brain tests, reaction tests, recall of words, recall of numbers, took bloods out of me, tested my smell, my eyes, my ears, the whole bloody lot was tested. I had a full body MOT. Anyway, last week I got the results back and I was very good. And the only problem they found was my cholesterol was about 5.3. So after about 20 years of daily heading, of being knocked spark out, of seeing stars, the test came through and I'm damn thankful that I'm okay. God bless those that are struggling, Jeff Astle and the family. I am bucking the trend in some ways, but I appreciate the game has changed and today's players have nowhere near the amount of heading that I was doing, along with other players like Big Kitch, Alan Dorney. There may well be a link with dementia in heading, and it may well come from this concussive heading in football. But I'm thankful that I volunteered. I was a bit scared. You walk through the doors thinking, are they going to find something wrong with my brain? I was damn thankful, and I pray to God I came through it okay. There is hope for those of you out there that have headed a ball. Speak next time. Bye for now.
That's a great story, that one, Phil. Really a great story. Tonight, we're thrilled to welcome back a familiar voice to our dugout. His father had the honour of playing alongside the legendary Barry Kitchener. And strangely enough, Phil Coleman mentioned him only earlier on in the show. That was Alan Dorney. So let's give a warm welcome to the son and heir, James Dorney. Hi, James.
Evening, chaps. You okay?
Yeah, all right, James.
Hello,
Good.
Good. They're all behaving themselves and they all acknowledged you being there. James, it's been a while. How's that lad of yours progressing in following in his grandfather's footsteps to play for Millwall?
Oh God, I ain't putting that sort of pressure on him. I had a childhood of that, but he's loving. He loves his football, mate. He's doing well. He's doing well. Works hard, and he enjoys it. That's the main thing. But yeah, he's getting he's getting pretty full on now. He's about 5-6 days a week at the minute. So
really?
I'm looking forward to the season finishing, so I can have a bit of a break. I'm like, it's non-stop. But no, honestly, he's 9. He's not even 10 yet, so I'm not going to put too much pressure on him. But yeah, he's doing all right. He's I don't think he'll be a centre half though. He's he's got too much energy to be playing at the minute, and he's he takes from his maternal genes, and I don't think he'll be much over 5.5 foot, so I don't think he'll be a centre half. But no, he's doing well. He's doing well, thank you, mate. He's got a big. His granddad's his #1 fan. He watches him everywhere. So he's never had a bad game in 4 years of playing football, according to his granddad. Anyway, but yeah, that's granddad favouritism and all that. I would have thought.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. Biased, I would imagine.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. He weren't quite like that with me when I was younger.
Hello, James. George Lampey here.
How you doing, George?
I want to bring you back to the evening of Millwall Community Trust when your dad, Alan, along with Steve Brown, Dennis Burnett and Brian King were warmly hosted by our own Jeff Burnage to celebrate the incredible 40th anniversary of the FA Cup tie win at Everton. And you were there, I believe. And how was it for your dad? You and your dad, how did you enjoy that?
Was that 2 years ago or was that last year? I can't remember now. But I loved it. But I love coming to all the things that Dad gets invited to, because I mean, I've come along a couple of years after his career finished, so I didn't get to see all like his. You see photos and videos, and lots of fans tell me, like the fans that I know, tell me about like all the things like that went on during my dad's playing days and that. But yeah, it's really nice for me to go to things like that, to obviously see the fan reaction and like to when him and his ex-teammates and that. So yeah, I love things like that. I mean, it's not, I mean, saying how did my dad enjoy it? I think it takes him a bit out of his comfort zone, the public speaking and all. Like, I
thought it would. Watching him play all them years, I thought he might do it, actually. Do you know, I can hardly ever remember your dad chatting on the pitch. I used to watch him all the time, and I hardly ever see him talk on the pitch next to Kitch.
I lived at home with him for 25 years. I don't think he said much to me either, mate. You know? But no, I mean, I think he was quite fortunate that night that he had Brian King and Dennis Burnett there, because they're good storytellers, aren't they? Them two, and they
little Stevie,
I was like, am I right? Am I right in remembering did Steve Brown go a bit close to the mark a few times?
He did. I think he does tend to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if some of these bits would have made the final cut or not. But yeah, but no, it was really, I like to say, I love coming to things like that with my dad, or like when he gets invited down to the Dockers days, and because it's nice for me to see the reaction that he still gets from the fans, and I think it takes him by surprise that fans even still like remember him and recognise him. But yeah, no, it's nice. It's always nice to go to things like that.
Hi James, it's Ted here.
Hello Ted, you alright mate?
All right mate, talking about your dad quickly, Barry Kitch was a fantastic legend of our football club and was a giant to many fans and whatever, but I tell you now, your dad was a giant in his own way. He wasn't the same player as Kitch, but in his own way he was just as good, and I can't give anybody as much of a compliment as that.
Yeah, thank you mate. Obviously, I don't think anyone would say anything to my face, like anything too derogatory. But I've never heard anyone say that anything other than that he was like very steady and done his job. And I think, like, I mean, my dad's he's quite modest about it. He always says, I've heard him say on other interviews with Millwall based interviews, that said you had workers and you had players, and he was a worker, and as long as he done his job, there was players there that could, if the workers done their job, you had if the one or two players turned up on the day, they'd win them the game. I think that's the way he saw his job there, to be honest.
Anyway, on to my question. Yeah. After Neil Harris left our club, James, how do you view Alex Neil's time so far in progressing in charge of Millwall? Where do you think we may go with Alex Neil?
Do you know what, mate? I think it's very hard at the minute to really judge him too much. I don't really want to judge, because what I would say is he's come in and he's stabilised it, hasn't he? Because around Christmas it was starting to turn into a bit like it was a bit it was a bit toxic, wasn't it? And the season could have really unravelled in a bad way. But he's come in, I think what you've got to remember, he's working with the squad at the minute. He's still got Neil Harris players from Neil Harris's first in charge. He's got Gary Rowett players, and now he's got Gallon's players as well that he's working with. So I think there's work to do. I wouldn't say it's been like a big revolution of a huge style, like changing style or anything like that, but I think he's done a really good job of just steadying the season and consolidating.
I think judgment is next season, isn't it? Really?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly. I think give him the summer. He's going to have to have to trim down the squad, and he's going to. I think during the summer, let him really make his mark on the team, and then I think that's when you can really judge him.
James, it's Stan here, mate.
Hello, Stan.
Anyway, this season we had Derek Smethurst on, and because he was in that team, and during the course of the conversation, he was quite complimentary about your dad, because he said that he was quick he was sort of 2 feet in front, or 2 yards in front of everybody else, in his head, like, you know what I mean? So if there was any possible shortcomings on pace and whatever, well, that didn't worry, because he read the situation before it happened, if you know what I mean.
No, that's good. No, so like I say, it's always nice to hear stuff like that, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've heard plenty say that like his brain was quicker than his legs. But yeah, no, he's.
Anyway, just to ask you, as the season comes to a close, we find ourselves with a remarkably talented squad. Although some players will be out of contract. It would be great to hear your thoughts on who you would like to keep and who you think we should try and sign from our loanee group.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, off the top of my head, because Lenny's triggered a renewal, isn't he? With his, I'm right in thinking, isn't he, Ryan Leonard? He's triggered a renewal.
He's been renewed.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I think personally, of the old guard, you know, that the ones that I think it is time that. I mean, I'm not saying have a clean sweep of them, because I think with all the young players that the club want to bring through, you're going to need senior pros there, because without them, like, you know, you can't have a squad without good senior pros. So if Lenny's staying, I think that's fantastic, because I know he's always a game or two away, you're fearing he's a game or two away from an injury, but at the same time, I just think, you know, he's a 7 out of 10er every week, and minimum, you know, and that's at right back, centre midfield. So I'm glad they're keeping him. Connolly, I don't know the length of the contract that Connolly's on. I'm not sure if some people told me it's the end of the season, and someone's told me there's an 18-month one. But I mean, if it is the end of the season, I hope they renew him, because I've liked the look of him. I think he turned up a bit unfit, but with every appearance, I think he looks he looks a player. Am I right in thinking Billy Mitchell's up for renewal as well this summer? Am I right?
I don't know. He might well be. I haven't heard that one, to be honest. But he could well be. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if he is, if he is, I'd definitely like him to stay. I think actually under Alex Neil, he's getting better and better again. So, and again, I think you need, with all these new faces coming in, you want some people. You want clubmen that have been there for years, like Billy's obviously been there since he was a kid, that know the club, can set the standard of, because as you all know, it's a unique club to play for, and a fan base to play for, and I think you need Millwall boys in there to kind of show the others like what the fans expect and that. So I'd keep Billy, and Savile Honeyman. I think maybe one of them two. I don't know what one. Probably I'd sway on the side of Sav. Again, just for some another like leader with all these young faces we've got in there now. Just another leader. But that said, I'm not. I know he divides opinion down there. I think more based on where he plays. I think if you want to have him as a squad player to play centre mid and give a bit of energy, I think he might be worth a new contract. But if they're looking at playing him as off the striker or a winger, then unfortunately not. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that means there's, like I say, a few of the old guard then that you're probably saying, like Hutch and Hutch has been brilliant. Murray Wallace has always done a good job, but I think it's time for, that we've got to start bringing in some new faces, like the young. If you're going to blood these youngsters, then someone's got to move on, haven't they? Unfortunately, I suppose that's just the way football is when they get to that age. But yeah, so. And I don't know about Danny Mack. Is he? I think his contract's up for renewal, and I'd hate to see him move on. But maybe for the good of his career, maybe he will go. I hope not though, because I've had a lot of dealings with him with my son, and he's been brilliant every time with him. So I'd hate to see him go, but maybe for the good of his career, he'll move on. I'm not too sure.
Good stuff. Good thoughts. Anyway, James, before you head off, there is Prediction League. And I'll allow Ted to deal with this, because when he dealt with it with Aiden O'Brien, he kept calling Aiden Eamonn. So I'll allow him to deal with it, as it is in Prediction League. And he'll invite you to share your predictions for free championship scores. At the end of the season, we'll gather all the results and find out who amongst our guests, hosts, panel, regular reporters has the best score predicting skills of the season. So over to you, Ted.
Right, so here we go, John. Sorry, James. Sorry, I'm right. Here's the predictions for our games, and our games got to start with our beloved Lions going up to Sunderland, who are chasing their promotion or playoff place, definitely. So Sunderland at home to Millwall, James. What do you reckon?
The table would say it's going to be we should struggle up there, but I just think Sunderland at the minute they're in like no man's land, really, aren't they? They're safe in that playoff spot. They're well off of the three above them, so it might be a typical one that Millwall turn up and get a typical I won't say the word, but do a 1-0 win or maybe nick a 1-0 win over them. So I'll go for 1-0 Millwall there. I can't back against them, can I? Let's have it right.
No, you're right. We do seem to hold a little bit of a sign over Sunderland up their place. We've had a few wins like that, so no reason why not. And you're right, you're 100% right. They are in a bit of no man's land. Next one, though, I think both of them are fighting for points, one more than desperate than others, and that's Hull at home to Luton. Luton desperate need of points, but Hull ain't been bad recently.
Well, I mean, even Luton before the break, they started picking up a few more points, didn't they? And I can see that one being a tight. No, neither of them will want to lose that. I don't think. I'll be. I think they'll both be playing not to lose that.
Right, and finally, another one that again could go either way, with two teams battling out trying to get into the playoff positions. One there and one trying to get there, and that's Norwich at home to West Brom.
I fancy Norwich because West Brom have been a bit, they don't never seem to be able to pick up any real momentum, like especially recently. And I know Norwich haven't been brilliant, but I'll go for a 2-1 Norwich on that one, mate.
Do you know what, James? I've just realised, and talking about great minds think alike, I think you've done every prediction exactly the same as me. James, you've predicted to perfection. Well done, mate.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
Ted's never got it right, by the way, James.
Sorry, who's top of the league?
I tell you what, if you look at my betting history, I've done. I don't get much right at all. So there we go.
James, if I don't get a point this week, you ain't ever coming back on. Let me tell you that.
Well, don't hold your breath. Then this could be our final goodbye.
Well, he only called you John. I was waiting for Matthew Mark to come up as well, but there you go.
Called a lot worse. Mate. Don't worry about that.
Look, thanks for coming on the show, James. Great fun as usual.
No problem at all, mate.
To you, and we look forward to you joining us once again, not too far down the line. All the best to Alan, your wife, Lauren, your son and daughter, and of course yourself. Funnily enough.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Goodbye for now, mate.
Yeah, good to see you later, chaps. Have a good one.
See you, James.
Cheers, James. Cheers, mate.
Bye, mate.
Well, that was lovely. James is always good. He's entertaining. But we'll take a break there and listen to Bethany Manxalow, that famous supporter of Aiden O'Brien, who she holds dear to herself, talk about the Millwall Community Trust and how you can support them.
The Millwall Community Trust is something that I, Bethany Manxalow, admire for all that it does. The Trust was established in 1985 to provide sporting, educational, social and healthy lifestyle opportunities to the local community in Southwark, Lewisham, North Kent and the wider community. Its work is targeted at people of all ages, irrespective of race, gender or sexual orientation, and runs programmes aimed at tackling social exclusion, racism, knife crime, lack of employment opportunities for young people, mental health and disability. The Trust aims to be a progressive and campaigning charity that makes a difference to ordinary people's lives. Its work is undeniably essential to the local community. Donating to the Millwall Community Trust is easy. Visit their website and click on the Get Involved section. There are also sponsorship opportunities. To support this work, email commercial@millwallcommunity.org.uk. I'll say that again. That's commercial@millwallcommunity.org.uk. If you can, please help them to continue their vital work.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Stan Godwin, Ted Robinson and George Lampey. Your donation will make a tremendous difference, helping our Millwall Community Trust provide valuable programmes for every age group in our community. Well, we're all looking forward to the next game, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans and those interested in football.
Next week, we won't have a Friday podcast, but the fantastic No One Likes Us talking team will be hosted by the wonderfully grumpy George Lampey on Saturday the 5th of April at the Maritime Radio Studios. Tune in to the Millwall News and Views show at 8 p.m. on 96.5 FM for a full hour of exciting updates. You can also catch it on the Maritime website or listen again at any time from the same source. Keep an eye out for more details on social media.
That was meant to be gorgeous, George. Ted, not grumpy, George, but we'll let you off on that one.
Well, it's not what my script says. And it's not our knowledge either.
We're delighted to share that Millwall Football Club has become the first British club to launch its very own mobile network. Partnering with Shaka, Millwall Mobile will be powered by Free, which boasts the UK's fastest 5G network and an impressive 99% coverage of the UK. With three exciting plans starting from just £10 a month, our supporters can save over £150 compared to traditional operators, all while serving the freedom to cancel any time with our no-contract options. As a Millwall Mobile subscriber, you'll enjoy some discounts, exclusive rewards, all while helping support the club with every plan you choose. Both physically and eSIM options are available. For more details on Millwall Mobile, please visit the Millwall website.
The Millwall Lionesses head off to Saltdean this Sunday to take on Saltdean United Women. The match will be held at Hill Park, Combe Vale, East Sussex, BN2 8HJ at 2 p.m. After an early season setback at home against their host, the Lionesses are eager to turn the tide this time. Why not enjoy a lovely day out by the coast and cheer them on as they work hard to reclaim their rightful place in the football pyramid?
Tune in to No One Likes Us talking team as they share exciting reports from our games, both at home and away, for the Lions, Lionesses, Romans and Pride. Plus, stay in the loop on Millwall Community News by catching all of this on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM or through their website. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, and all your favourite podcast platforms. A heartfelt thank you to Ted.
Cheers, Eamonn.
And a heartfelt thank you to Stan.
Thank you, Eamonn.
And an even gorgeous heartfelt thank you to George.
Good night, Eamonn. Good luck, everybody.
You grumpy git.
And each and every one of you for tuning in. Join us on Maritime Radio next Saturday for the monthly Millwall News and Views show. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night. Our Millwall Fan Show is sponsored by G&M Motors of Gravesend, Honda dealers and much more. Thank you.